Dear Masters, my humble pranams and salutations to our Jagat Guru, Brahmarshi Subhas Patriji, and also to Madam Swarnamala Patriji. Dear friends, dear Masters, dear gods of Malaysia, I take great pleasure in inviting Master Harishankar from Karnataka today on our platform to speak on the fine art of listening masters. I'll give a very brief introduction about Mr. Hari. Mr. Hari says his schooling is the very base for his transformation in his life, masters. So he studied at RSS school. RSS school is the Rastriya Swayam Seva Sangha, where all they impart value-based education. So Mr. Hari knows most of the scriptures. This is what they teach in this RSS school. So in the year 1996, he says a very great year for him that he came in contact with our Jagat Guru, Brahmarshi Subhas Patriji. And from then on, masters, his journey in spirituality started with meditation. And he has been reading a lot of books as advised and recommended by our Brahmarshi Patri sir. He also did a lot of trekking with Patriji in Karnataka and Hyderabad, Bangalore. Then came a pyramid to his hometown called Hospeti in the year 2015. So that's when he says his real work started. After construction of the pyramid, he started to preach meditation. So with that qualification, now he's the president of the PSM Karnataka. He succeeded the late Mr. Varaha Murthy, who vacated his body, masters. So now let's hear from Mr. Hari on the topic of the fine art of listening, masters. Welcome, Mr. Hari Garu. Welcome to you.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir. Namaste. Dhanyavad, sir. Before I start my sharing on the fine art of listening, I bow down to the feet of Brahmarshi Pitama Patriji and Swarnamala Patriji, Matradevo Bhava, Pitradevo Bhava. So, fine art of listening. It's a base for everything, not only spirituality, but everything in our life. So when it comes to the part of spirituality, then fine art of listening is very, very much crucial and most important. So how to listen? Because there are different dimensions of listening, masters. Much of what I'm saying is except from Atma Puja Upanishad of Osho and Patri sir, everything. There are different dimensions of listening. You can listen with your intellect. That is, the first dimension of listening, a basic, is we listen with our intellect, like with our reason. That is one way of listening to a thing. The most common, the most ordinary, and even more, I can tell you, most shallow. Because with reason, we are always either in defense or in attack. With reason, we are always fighting. So whenever someone tries to understand something through reason, he is fighting with the thing. Okay. At the most, a very rudimentary understanding is possible. Just an acquaintance is possible. The deeper meaning is bound to be missed because the deeper meaning requires a very sympathetic listening. And listening with the reason, you cannot sympathetically listen. With the reason, you will have an argumentative background. So listening with the reason is good, if you are trying to understand like mathematics, logic, or else we are trying to understand any system which is totally rational. So again, if we start listening to a poetry with a reason, then we will be blind. It is as if we are trying to see with one's ear or hear with one's eyes, vice versa. We cannot understand poetry through reason. So there is a deeper understanding. And that second type of understanding, which is not through reason, but through love, through feeling, through emotion, through heart. This is the second dimension. The first dimension is listening to the through reason. Listening through reason, which is very rudimentary, like what we really go through. So, like reason or intellectuality, where means that when you are listening, you are simultaneously arguing with it. Reasoning with the reason or with the intellect, we are simultaneously will be arguing with it. A constant argument will go on. The master will be saying something to you. You are listening, and constantly there is an argument inside. Whether this is right or wrong, you are comparing with your own concepts, with our own ideologies, with our own systems. So constantly. So when you are listening to any master or to any person or to me, you are comparing whether you confirm your ideas or not, whether I am according to you or not, whether I am convincing or not. So then how is listening possible in that way? Because we are not too full with ourselves. And it is like a miraculous that within this constant inner turmoil, we are capable of listening something. And you might have heard, but what I have said, you might have not heard that. It cannot be. Because when the mind is full of its own ideas, it goes on giving colors to everything that comes to it. It hears not what is being said, but what it wants to hear. It chooses, it drops, it interprets. But that is completely with a different shape. So that is what is meant by listening with the reason or intellectual listening. So this is like a first part of listening, first dimension of listening. Sir, am I clear with my audio, sir?
Yes, audible.
sir.
Okay. So now let us move into the second dimension, that is listening through the heart, through feeling. So here comes, if we are listening to some music, then no analysis is needed. Of course, if the person who is listening is a critic, then will not be able to understand the music. As a critic, you may be able to understand the mathematics, the meter, the language, everything about music, but not the music itself. Because music cannot be analyzed. It is a whole. It is totality. If I wait for a single second to analyze it, I miss it. I miss much. It is a flowing totality. never real music cannot be analyzed. So we cannot understand. Only we should participate. We should be a participant. Only then we can listen to the music. So with feeling, the way of understanding is through participation. You cannot be an observer. You cannot stand outside. You cannot make music an object. You have to flow with it. You have to be deeply in love with it. There will be many moments like when you will not be, and only music will be there. When you are so much immersed, when you are so much into it. The first way of listening was reason, that was rational. And the second way of listening is through, like this is feeling, like emotional. And the third way is through being, existential. So when you listen through your reason, you are listening through the one part of your being, that is reason, intellect. Again, when you listen through your feeling, you are listening through one part of your being, that is your heart, your emotion. The third, the deepest, the most authentic dimension of listening is through your totality, body, mind, and spirit as a whole, as a oneness. If we are able to understand the third way of listening, only then we will be able to penetrate the mystery of this universe. And the traditional term for listening, the third listening, is faith. So we can divide. Through reasoning, there is a doubt. Through feeling, the method is love, like sympathy. Through being, the method is faith. Trust. Because when we are going into the unknown, how can we doubt? Doubt can come with the known. But that which is not known at all, how can you doubt it? You cannot love the unknown. You cannot create a relationship with the unknown. You cannot relate with it. You can just dissolve into it. We can surrender to the unknown, but we cannot relate to it. And surrender is not relationship. It is not relationship at all. It is just dissolving the duality. With reason, the duality remains. You are in conflict with the other. With love also, duality remains. You are in sympathy with the other. But with being, the duality dissolves. You are neither in conflict nor in love. You are not related at all. The third is known as faith. And we in Sanskrit call it as Shraddha. Shraddhavan lavante jnanam. As far as the unknown is concerned. And faith is the key. If someone says, how can I believe? Then he misunderstands. Then he missed the very point. Faith is not belief. Belief is again a rational thing. You can believe, you can disbelieve. You can believe because you have arguments for believing. You can disbelieve because you have arguments for disbelieving. Belief is never deeper than reason. And faith is not belief. Because for the unknown, there is no reason for or against. You can neither believe nor disbelieve. So what remains to be done? You can either be open to it or you can be closed to it. It is not a question of believing or not believing. It is a question of being open or being closed to it. If you trust, then you are open. If you distrust, then you remain closed. This is just a key. If you want to be open to the unknown, then your trust and faith is the key. And meditation is unknown. You are entering into an unknown. If you don't want to be open, you can be closed. But the person who is missing, except me, that is me who is missing. No one is at loss except me. See, a seed has to break or has to die for the tree to be born. But the seed has never known the tree. The dying of seed can happen only in faith. The tree is unknown and the seed will never meet the tree. The seed can remain closed in fear of death. Then the seed will remain a seed and will die ultimately without being reborn. But if the seed can die in faith, then the unknown may be born out of its death. Only then does it open. So this is the third way, like where with trust, with zeroness. So now there comes how to listen with one's totality, with neither reason functioning nor feeling functioning in sympathy, but with the totality of one's being masters. Because we know only the function of the parts. We know how the heart functions, how my eyes are functioning, and how my stomach, so we know the functioning only in parts. We don't know how the totality functions. The heart functioning, the legs are moving, the eyes are seeing. We know only parts functioning. How does the totality function? The totality functions only in deep passivity, and that can happen only when you are in meditative mood. Nothing is active, everything is silent. You're not doing anything, you're just here, just present, and the door opens. Then only we will be able to understand the message of Bhagavad Gita, the message of Upanishad. Just your presence. That is what is meant by total function. Just your presence. Listening with your presence. No prejudiced ideas. Just present. Ordinarily, we are in linear, like either we'll be in the past or in the future. So we exist in a line, past, present, and future. I'm moving on mine. You people are moving on yours. And really, we never meet with that presence. So where the time is not there, where your past is not working, where you're not projecting about your future, you're just in this moment. in this one line, that is the present, a non-linear movement. So that is listening with totality. That is like where you're not listening with your past, nor with your future, but with such a totality that in the present moment only your presence remains. And if you can listen silently, passively, if you can just be present here and now, in this very moment is enough. Then a different dimension will open, masters, will open. And that is the Upanishadic message. And that is what is meant by eternal. So with this, I just close what the fine art of listening. Sir, over to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Hari.
Yes, sir.
Yes, shared with us on the qualities of a listener.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you said you must listen with intellect, listen with reason, listen with love, and also with argumentation, internal turmoil, whether to argue, to ask questions or not, And you also told us that you listen from the heart. Your totality should be there when you're listening.
Yes,
It's a very, very good point. And you also shared something from the Upanishads, the art of living, what the Upanishads tell us. And you also told us about the traditional listening. There, I
Yes,
think
sir.
we need some enlightenment, sir, on traditional listening. You said the speaker must have full faith. Exactly, that's how they practice in the Gurukulam.
Yes,
That's
sir.
full
Gurukul.
faith. The disciples, the students, have
Yes,
total
sir.
faith in the Guru. Those days, But now the gurus of this present day in the Zoom class, they may have some knowledge of what we are speaking. So
Yes,
they
sir.
have to have a critical mind, how to
Yes, sir.
criticize the speaker. Unlike
Yes.
those days, the Guru is very authentic, the traditional
Yes.
way. And
Yes.
the children are very new to the subject, so they will not question. They will listen with Shraddha, with great
Yes.
Shraddha, whatever the Guru is telling, and that's the only way they can gain the knowledge. But now, as I told you that people having a turmoil in the heart
Yes.
when you're speaking, what question to put, how to base this question. So they themselves have some turmoil. So basically, this is what you shared, Master
Yes, sir.
Rigaru. And
Yes.
then you told something from the Upanishad.
Yes, sir.
So we have Mr. Chandrarao Garu as our co-host today. So he will take up questions, sir. So I'll hand over to Mr. Chandrarao Garu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Namaskaram, Master Harishankar Garu.
Namaste, sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste, Rao, sir.
Thank you very much for a short briefing of 3 ways of listening. All the while we have been, we know how to listen only, but then now you have given the dimensions of 3 dimensions of listening, effective listening. We call it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So usually as our Guru says, Lakshmanji says, I used to argue.
Yes, sir.
I used to argue because I want to know more.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, because we do use logical mind and then try to be logic with our understanding. That's it.
Yes, sir.
They may have a higher enlightenment when they give, as what our Lakshmanji says, Gurukulam's teaching is Bodhana is different than current Bodhana.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Today, everybody has got certain kind of knowledge. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
why argumentative reasoning comes up. But as you say that actually we have to do it. I mean, listen with the true being.
Yes,
Just
sir.
accept. Just trust. Just now you mentioned that trust. We must listen through trust. But and then you also said trust and belief is separate.
Yes, sir.
We thought the belief and trust are same carries the same meaning, but you say different meaning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Belief systems, huh?
Mm.
So how it carries that? Because we trust. Let's see, for example, we trust whatever Lakshmanji says. We trust his words.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
we also can say we believe in his teachings. So two different
Definitely, sir.
understanding.
Definitely. See, sir.
Yes.
The word trust actually, like, you can trust the unknown, sir, but you cannot believe in the unknown. Belief comes when you have known something.
Okay.
I know Mr. Rao, sir, from so many, so I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
I know Mr. Rao from so many days. So whatever he's saying, I believe.
Believe. Okay. Okay.
And trust should be an unknown. Trust comes, trust arises. It is not even a pattern of thinking or a pattern of the mind. It is something which opens you to the unknown.
Yeah. Okay. Trust is more powerful than belief.
More powerful, sir. Because in spirituality, you need more trust.
Trust. Yeah. Correct.
Trust on the master, trust on his words. Instead of like many people go on postmorteming each and every word, each and every sentence of what master has said through their like that intellectual part, but where that actually diminishes their progress.
Correct.
So there are two ways of leading a life, sir. In a material world, we need all if I really want to start some business, so I am putting so much of money and I see what would be the profit or what are the hurdles, how I should manage. All these things come in a material world. But when it comes to the spirituality, first is acharana. Like you have to start doing. First, put your awareness on the breath. Then you will get so many questions when you are just moving with the, because you just trusted, you just put into practice. Acharana.
Yeah.
So you trusted
Correct,
it and
correct.
started doing meditation. You started observing your breath, and when you started observing your breath, you were able to see yourself in so many new ways. So many
Correct,
things happened.
correct.
So many opened to you, and that opening.
Correct.
Then there is a quest, not even the question. Quest of moving ahead.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And for every
Very good.
question,
Fantastic.
there will be a quest, sir. For quest, you have to do sadhana, more and more sadhana.
Agree. Okay, masters. Thank you very much for your explanation. Any other masters got questions? Please raise your hand and take this great opportunity to ask some questions from Master Harishankar. A very rare opportunity. Please ask questions because it's a good subject. Because every day we listen. So are we got to ask ourselves.
We hear, sir. We don't listen. We hear. We
Okay.
don't
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's a of course very concrete difference between hearing and listening. Hearing can be false news.
Yes.
But yeah. Okay. Any masters? Please raise your hands and ask some questions. So in other words, sir, whatever our guru says, we have to blindly
put it into practice.
Accept it and practice it.
Because no, sir, not even accepting, you just put it into practice. Then an understanding comes to you, and there will be a total acceptance without your knowledge, even without your knowing.
Correct.
That is pure acceptance. Like, sir, we have received this body from the nature, sir, from Prakriti. Correct. But the mind is from the society.
Exactly.
We have received this mind from the society.
Exactly.
So that's right. When you just put yourself into practice, that mind becomes zero.
Yeah.
So there is no bondage. Mind means a bondage.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Okay.
So always the body has its own beauty, but mind will not have its beauty.
Very true.
Because mind is a cultivated thing.
Yeah, cultivated and culprit also.
A false construct.
Yeah, correct. Okay, now let's listen from Master Lakshmanji. Raise up his hand.
Namaste, Hari Garu. So,
Namaste.
Listeners should have both faith, there is Shraddha, and trust in the speaker. Because the speaker has
Yes,
come prepared to give some knowledge, So, do you think
Yes.
the participants, instead of being a participant, if we raise questions very argumentative way, critical way, is it
Yes.
acceptable in a public forum like this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
No, is it acceptable
Sir?
in a public forum like this? A speaker has come with some knowledge and he is sharing with his a very authentic way. He's sharing, but from the
Yes.
participant, they must be really a participant or become a critical person.
Yes,
Can we
sir.
accept criticism? Can we accept criticism in a public forum?
No, sir. The question is not of accepting, sir. The question is of just allowing or not allowing. Whether the thing should be allowed or it should not be allowed. See, if somebody is just for asking sake, he might ask. So we should understand, sir, the question comes from the mind, whereas the quest comes from your being. The quest has an eternal gist to go into the unknown. The question comes from the mind, it requires answer, and answer which are supportive to their fundamentals.
Correct.
Everybody has their own fundamentals and they seek answers supporting their fundamentals. That is where they miss everything.
Correct.
So, but when you have the quest, a tapana, a jigyasa, then unknowingly you enter into the unknown. But every questions cannot be answered, but every quest has a samadhana, as a way.
That's right.
And the speaker should understand whether the question is coming from his heart, it is a quest or a question. If it is a question, if I can answer and make out something simply which really encourages his fundamentals or agree with his fundamentals, and leave it on. But for a person who has real quest into the unknown, that is the life, that is the mystery of life.
Yeah. Correct. Master satisfied with the answer? One more thing.
One more thing, sir. Can you please define these two words, jignasu and mumukshatvam? Just define for us.
Sir?
Jignasu, so we mentioned. Who's a jignasu and who's a mumuksha? Mumukshu.
So mumukshatva means, sir, a great desire to attain the nirvana. So nirvana literal meaning, sir, actually, sir, I'll tell you that in Sanskrit, for every word there are three meanings, sir. One meaning is padartha, word meaning, and the second one is bhavartha, and the third one is lakshartha. Padartha means word meaning, like mumukshatva word meaning is a desire, and bhavartha means in that only we have to see like an undivisible desire to attain at any cost. And lakshartha is at any cost I'll attain. So jignasa is a part of mumukshatva. One who has jignasa, he enters into mumukshatva. Jignasa means like every cell in my body is what do you say? It is pulsating to attain. Like the whole, the totality, that is jignasa.
So jignasa is the beginning, mumukshata is the later part, the extreme desire.
Jignasa is the beginning and mumukshatva is the road,
final part. You're already on the path of search.
You're on the path. Yes,
Like Jitnasu can be just say he's a striver in spirituality, striving.
yes, 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 sir, exactly.
Fantastic. Any other masters? Any other questions? Please raise your hand. Very interesting subject. Okay.
Master Hari, you have also mentioned about see when a speaker is giving a lecture, the participants may have an inner turmoil.
Yes,
What kind of inner turmoil they will have, sir?
sir.
What kind of inner turmoil? The kinds of turmoil they have in their body, in their heart, when the speaker
Sir,
is.
So it depends upon their minds, sir. Like it depends upon their mind. It depends upon how they have grew up, and what they want to actually listen. And we have our own judgments, which we feel we are always right. So all these things create turmoil in many ways, sir. You can't say like this or that. And when what I am saying is not matching with what you are thinking or what you want to with your judgments or with your conceptions, then there will be an immediate turmoil. So this is not right, this is not the way, this is not the way. Even though if you are unable to conceive or you don't have the idea of what I am saying, but that ego, that mind makes you not to accept it. That is where we should be very much aware. And through regular meditation, all these things will happen. So these things cannot be cultivated. These things should be happen. They should happen. We cannot cultivate it. Cultivation is again a part of the mind. Whereas in meditation, you're just, what are the things which you have holded through your hands, that thinking these are the golds, diamonds, and these are the base for your life. You live just like this. Because you will be able to make your hands like this and you are ready to catch those rainwater, which are very natural. And the turmoil is not like specific, sir. It is like coincidence. It is at that particular juncture what can happen, because how you are thinking and what I am saying, immediately you keep on judging, because you have your own judgments. And we feel always we are right. Even if we are wrong, we feel we are wrongly right.
Wrongly right. Okay, wonderful.
Because we cannot make, sir. Normally, sir, if I start denying Mr. Rao in front of you, so you feel somewhat, you feel you are exalted. You are so in a upper. Oh, it might be. If I start praising Mr. Rao in front of you, okay, then because you are feeling yourself down, we might feel okay, it might happen, it might be there, might not be there. Abhi is Kaliyug mein sab kaisa hoega? Okay.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, in our any kind of presentation, we have lots of mindsets.
Yes,
different mindsets.
Yes, sir.
We wouldn't know at what level they are listening.
Yes,
some
sir.
can be argumentative, some can be oneness, some can be with the feelings.
Yes, sir.
It's varieties. So
Yes.
whatever questions they ask, I think it's okay to answer, but we cannot feel that because everybody they listen. When they ask question, is to learn further.
Yes.
Because they just want to clarify the doubts.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Okay, masters, please, please, any more questions? Looks like everybody understood very well your
Yes,
explanation, master. No question is been asked. Okay.
So now the question is of doing, sir.
Doing.
Means you have to start. You have to start listening totally with your being.
Correct.
Because always we listen in parts, sir. Whatever we do in parts. That is way of doing, sir. It's not whether I'm not saying that that is wrong and this is right. The question is not right and wrong. The question is about truth. Truth is where you are total. Always try to feel yourself total. Always we stumble, sir. Again, we have to come back. That is what is sadhana is all about. We stumble and come back. We stumble and come back. We stumble. In that way, we keep on learning as well as unlearning.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. It's over to you.
Okay, sir. Mr. Hari Garu, I
Yes,
think
sir.
it's a wonderful session with you. Nobody's raising much questions.
Yes, sir.
We are very satisfied, I think. So, thank you for coming on our platform, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me a great opportunity.
The fine art of listening.
Yes, sir.
You give some key points, some takeaways, which will certainly take away. We can embrace and follow in our platforms also. So thank you so much, and thank you, Master Chandra, for
Thank
having
you.
this
Thank you so much.
wonderful
Thank you so
session.
much.
And also all the participants who joined today's session. Thank you, Mr. Hari. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank
See you
you.
again. See you
Thank you,
again.